welcome back to Angelic Wellness. I'm Dr. Tinuade Olusegun, and today I want to talk about, Doc, should I take magnesium? I was told my blood level looks fine. So what is the reason why I should take more if I'm already in the normal range? Okay, so the question is, my blood level is in the normal range. Should I take more magnesium? That's a great question, and I love to debate this one, right? Why? Because what a lot of people don't realize is that when we check your blood level for magnesium, we're actually just checking 1% of where your magnesium lives. That's right, 1%, right? Meaning that we're not testing for where 99% of your magnesium lives, which is deep in the tissue, deep within the cell, okay? Because it's very hard to measure that, so we just measure what's in the bloodstream. And when the amount that's in the bloodstream is okay, we tell you, yeah, you're okay. But what we actually find is a lot of patients are significantly deficient in magnesium. It's like almost like 2 out of 3 people that we measure are deficient, meaning like if we really measure the tissue level, okay? So, but we don't measure the tissue level. So most patients, when you get that metabolic panel, or what we call the comprehensive metabolic panel that we check annually with your annual physical, usually your magnesium comes back fine and we're like, okay, you're fine, you don't have to take magnesium. But then you have all these symptoms, all these signs that suggest that you need magnesium. Right? So for my patients, I actually encourage magnesium. I'm like, I don't care if your blood test came back okay. If we're not having problems taking magnesium and it's showing to improve certain symptoms that I'm looking for, that we're going to be talking about today, then I want you to take it. Because look, taking too much magnesium is easy to figure out. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to go to the bathroom, you're going to have diarrhea, okay? So we know when you start taking too much, right? So, well, then why don't we try to get your tissue level higher and better so that we can diminish some of the risk of having magnesium deficiency. Okay, so let's talk about it. What is magnesium? So magnesium is actually not a vitamin. I know a lot of us kind of list it when we're listing vitamins and different things. But it's actually an element on the periodic table for those that, took some, science in school, right? It's an element, it's a mineral, and we get it, yes, we can get it from food, but we can also take it as a supplement. And magnesium is very, 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 very important because it's involved in a lot of reactions in the body, chemical reactions. I mean, I think they're still counting, but way over 250, maybe 300-400, we don't know at this point, okay? It's involved in all these different reactions. And because it's involved in these reactions as a cofactor, meaning like there are enzymes that take the active ingredient, the raw material, and then do a chemical reaction to turn it into the active ingredient. So magnesium is a cofactor, like a buddy that this reaction needs to be able to, activate the enzyme and get things moving, okay? So very, very important, because if all the chemical reactions, or most of the chemical reactions in your body need this as a cofactor, you can see how important this element is, okay? So you want to supplement it because you don't want any of your chemical reactions not to happen because you're low in magnesium, right? Especially since it's something that's safe to take, and doesn't cost that much, all right? So we know that magnesium is involved in nerve functioning. We know it's important for blood pressure. In fact, we can use magnesium to lower blood pressure. I've talked about it on this channel. In patients that are pregnant and have preeclampsia, with your blood pressure shoot through the roof, guess what? We just put them an IV drip of magnesium, boom, that blood pressure comes right down. Okay, so we know that magnesium is needed in those cases for blood pressure control. It helps with the arteries. It's very important for your heart function. In fact, a lot of the heart can pump with no magnesium, all right? We know that magnesium loves to help you sleep. Oh, you take 500 milligrams of magnesium at bedtime, you're gonna sleep better than if you didn't, okay? So we know that it's important in all these things. And, But why? Why don't we take it? Well, we're going to get into it in a little bit. What's happening is that we used to get a lot of magnesium in just our water, okay? When we used to drink water from the rivers, and I came from Africa, we got it from the river, you put it on your head. Sorry, just kidding. You get your water from the rivers and from the ground, and then you boil it and sterilize it and filter it before you drink it. But all that still preserves the magnesium and other minerals in the water. So we got a lot of minerals that way. But since we now live in a society where a lot of the water is now desalinated, we call it, where we've taken the salt out of the water and then processed it through a processing plant, and then we just add back what we want to add back. Well, they don't always add back magnesium, right? So that's where we start to see some deficiencies, because we're not drinking water that naturally had magnesium in it. Also, a lot of us are eating too many processed food, packaged food, fast food, because we're on the go, we got things to do, we got to grab this meal, grab that meal, and a lot of processed foods process the magnesium right out of the ingredients, right? So we get foods that are depleted in minerals because of that, right? So we're eating, but still lacking all these things that naturally would have been in there if we didn't overly process it. So that's why we're seeing it with more and more deficiencies, because our water is not including it, our foods are not including it, our soils are depleted of it, and so on, okay? So now we want to talk about replacing it, right? So, before we get onto that one, let me touch on this one really quick. Can your low testosterone be due to low magnesium? Yeah, that's a controversial one. Yeah, can you have low testosterone level because your magnesium is low? Here's something you need to know. Magnesium is actually very important in your Leydig cells. Okay, so you might have heard me talk about Leydig cells in this channel, because I talk about it in the production of testosterone from your testes, right? So Leydig cells are the cells that actually makes testosterone in your testes. And there is an enzyme in there that needs magnesium to be activated, okay? So when you're depleted in magnesium, well, guess what you're not gonna be making is your tea, okay? So you need magnesium to have optimal testosterone, okay? So again, you guys know I love talking about testosterone, but hey, very, very important is that you have enough magnesium to make that Leydig cell and the enzyme inside it to be activated to produce the testosterone, okay? So now let's talk about what types of magnesium supplements should you be taking? Because now that we've established the fact that you need it, why we don't have it in our diet anymore, we need to talk about how can we put it back in so that we can be healthier, okay? So there's several different magnesium. So I just don't like it when people tell you just go take magnesium, because look, you get to the grocery store, you're like, oh my God, you're reading all the labels going, which one should I take? There's the oxide, there's the hydroxide, there's the carbonate, there's the sulfate. I don't know the difference, right? Well, those first four that I just mentioned, the magnesium oxide, magnesium hydroxide, magnesium carbonate, and magnesium sulfate, those are not the ones that I recommend for my patients, okay? They're not well absorbed. In fact, for a lot of patients, they're used more to try to cause you to have diarrhea, okay? So do you really want to have diarrhea, or do you want to get the magnesium into your cell to make your testosterone, to do all these good things we talk about, okay? So we're not talking about those four, okay? That's not what this supplementation is about, okay? When we're talking about supplementation, we're talking about the ones that is going to get it into that cell, into that tissue, right? Not just be floating around in your gut and causing diarrhea, okay? But it's going to actually be absorbed in your gut, right? And actually get to the tissue, the muscle, where we want it to do the action, okay? So that is the one that I'm talking about. So the ones that we see that do that is, the first one is magnesium citrate. So magnesium citrate is one of the cheapest ones. It is absorbed a little bit better than the first four I mentioned, but it does have some diarrhea causing effect also if you take too much, Okay, so you still have to be mindful with citrate. So that's not the one that I personally tell my patients to get, but it is one of the cheaper ones. So if finance is an issue, you'll probably be able to get a huge bag of magnesium citrate and take some of that powder scoop a day to try to help you get some magnesium in. Okay, the one that I really like and I recommend and I personally take is magnesium glycinate. Okay, so magnesium glycinate, I take about 500 milligrams of this. Magnesium glycinate is very gentle on the GI tract. It is absorbed very well. It does get into your tissue. It gets into your muscles. It helps you sleep well, helps you with the blood pressure, helps your gut. I mean, just a ton of benefits from this kind. Okay, so that's the one I prefer. 500 milligrams of that version and you will be golden. Okay, so now there's other versions that are also equally good, but maybe a little bit more pricey, right? So you would find things like magnesium threonate. Okay, you're gonna find magnesium orotate. We also have magnesium taurate and then magnesium malate. Okay, those are also good. Okay, but again, cost-wise, you're gonna see that they tout all other benefits like central nervous system benefit, maybe that they give you a little bit more energy, so they have a few other claims that makes them a little bit more pricey, and so you might you might fall for some of that. Anyways, I think that the magnesium glycinate is good enough. It's not the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive, and it does the trick. Okay, so you can look at those other ones. Maybe you have a supplement supplier that you really like and they carry one of these other ones that I've mentioned that are good and you want to stick with that supplier. That is fine, they work well, they will do the same thing that the glycinate would do, but again, a little bit more on the pricey side. So think about those. There is actually a version of magnesium that is a combination that takes a little bit of all the good ones and just combines it and calls it complete mag. Those are also a good option because you never know, maybe your body likes one version more than the other. Okay, so those are the types that I recommend patients to supplement on. Okay, so again, hope this has been helpful for you. Why should you be taking magnesium? Don't rely on the blood test saying that you're normal. I think we can all benefit from taking a little bit of magnesium, if not daily. I'm saying, usually I tell patients to take it at bedtime, by the way. If you're not taking it every night, at least every now and then, to make sure that if you might be deficient, that you're giving your body the chance to correct any deficiencies, make some of these enzymatic reactions that needs to happen so that you can get the active ingredient on the other side of that chemical reaction to get your body working right, lowering your blood pressure, helping your nerve pain, helping your heart function, helping you sleep better, having less soreness in your muscle, and so on. Okay? If you like this one, don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and share this video. Comment in the section below, tell me what type of magnesium you take, how much you pay for it, is it worth it, and so on. I would love to hear from you guys. See you on the next one. Bye for now.